Hey, what's happening? This is your host, Tinto. And before we get started on this week's episode, I'd like to give a shout out to the two feelers that bought me coffees. Starting with you, What's Poppin'? Pa. 5 generous coffees there. And your comment there reads, keep them coming, big man, with the giggles emoji. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And thanks for correcting what that original comment was, because if I read it the way that you wrote it, people are gonna be like, what? Yo, but thanks anyway. And then head over to Anisu. Thank you. Another generous 2 coffees. And your comment there reads, Tisuvaya Banongojika Vasinga Tende lol. Been a long time listener for a while. I really enjoy your show. Keep up the good work, Tinto. Thank you so much, Anisu. If you'd like to support the podcast in a similar way, please head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/feeling station and give as your spirit leads. Remember, there is nothing too small to support the podcast that you've grown to love. With that out of the way, let's get straight into this week's episode. And for those who may be sensitive to suicide ideation, then maybe this episode isn't quite for you. So hold on and wait until next weekend's episode. With that out of the way, let's get straight into it. Is that a breakup?
I think we have a situation right here.
On the Feeling Station.
Yo, this I've been looking forward to for God knows how long, because there's obviously a backstory to this. Mm-hmm. And I like how you're asking if we started. We don't waste time here.
Heads up.
There's obviously a backstory to this. It's great that we've reconnected. Yes. Thank you for making time to do this. Welcome to the Feeling Station.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
For those who are listening to this podcast for the first time, it's a romantic family and friendship breakout podcast. Hey! Did you catch that one?
I'm not saying anything. Show what?
That choke was about to do real good. Okay, let's try it again. It's a romantic family and friendship breakout podcast showcasing stories that people would like to talk about with a view to give them lessons from their experience. Mm-hmm. I hope you find today's story entertaining, but more importantly, meaningful. And the reason why the podcast is popular is two main reasons. First is that I do my best to keep my guests anonymous, so I have a name that I'm going to give you for the duration of this episode.
Okay.
And sticking with the theme of love in Africa, the way that I do and we do, your name comes from Tunisia.
Okay.
And your name is in Hebrew, and it's Mariam, right? So I know where we're from, we've got Miriam. Mm-hmm. Instead of the me, replace it with ma. So it's Mariam.
Mariam.
Yeah. And what that means is bitterness, right?
Hi, guys. What do you mean? Why?
No. It's got 3 meanings. So the first is bitterness.
Yeah.
Second meaning is star of the sea.
Okay.
Which is better. And the last one, which I think is really nice, is beloved.
Okay.
There we go. The name got better, didn't it? The meaning got better, at least.
The name is dry, Tinto. Why couldn't you find something else?
Anyway, Mariam.
Okay, right?
Mariam. And what are you calling the person that you're talking about today?
Let's just call him Bill.
Bill?
Yeah.
Bill.
It will make sense at the end.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I was about to say you just called the name that I gave you dry, but Bill, bruh.
No. Bill will make sense.
Okay, so this is about Mariam and Bill.
That's it.
And the second reason why the podcast is really popular is there are real life lessons that people are going to walk away with from your story.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you like anybody listening to your account today to walk away with?
Okay, so I've got a few lessons here.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, so the Lord God, our Savior, is not a God of confusion.
Amen.
Can I hear an amen?
Amen to that. That's a solid amen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And also, a relationship is not a prison sentence.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people feel that it is.
It's not. You're not stuck.
You can leave.
Exactly.
And you should if you need to.
And you should.
Cool.
Yeah.
A relationship is not a prison sentence. Do you have a third lesson?
Yes. So not listening to your gut will cost you.
Mm-hmm.
So in so many ways, financially, socially, biologically, and psychologically.
Yeah, you know, I've heard about the first three: financially, socially, biologically. Yeah,
No, honestly, your physical health.
No, yeah. It
So-
can suffer.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have another one?
Lastly, sometimes your friends actually know you better than you think.
100%. And I love that a lot. And you know, that hits home even better if some of those friends are honest with you right through the thick. You're
Yeah.
like, yo, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Not the ones who then come and say to you, but we saw, couldn't you see?
I know. So
Nice.
I had to mention that one.
So are those your 4 key lessons?
Yes, that's it.
Cool. So to play them back, lesson number 1, the Lord God, our Savior, is not a God of confusion. I really like that. Number 2, a relationship is not a prison sentence. Number 3, not listening to your gut will cost you financially, socially, biologically, and psychologically. And last but not least, sometimes your friends know you better than you think.
Yes, that's
Right.
correct.
Mariam, I want to get cracking into this. Tell me where you met Bill and why did you decide, hey man, yeah, you know, Bill is the guy.
Okay. So I had a friend, a best friend. We'll just call her Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
So Sarah's actually related to Bill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say how, but
Yeah,
they're related.
fine,
Yeah.
Fine, yeah.
So I always knew of Bill, but I'd never actually spoken to him or seen him.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sarah had been at my house. This was actually after that event that we went to, that Amapiano event.
Which one? We've been to a few.
That brunch, this brunch
Oh,
one. Yeah.
The London one.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss that stuff, you know.
Yeah. So
okay.
we'd gone out.
Mhm.
Oh, just to add, at that brunch, I met someone. Let's call him Emeka.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't want to confuse you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I'd been talking to Emeka, chatting for a few weeks.
Wait a minute. I didn't see you talking to no man at that brunch, you know.
Can I just finish?
Okay.
So from that brunch, I
Yeah.
met Emeka. Yeah, and we're chatting. And the reason I mention him is because I'll need to mention him later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to him, but anyway, with regards to Bill was chatting to Sarah, my friend, on like FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
And so me being nosy, I was like, oh, Sarah, who are you chatting to? Like, oh, you know, it's Bill. Do you want to come say hi? I came, said hi. And I thought, oh, he looked cute. And then he was like, oh, can I have your number? So bear in mind, Bill lived in Zimbabwe at this point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm obviously in the UK.
Mm.
So I just thought, oh, it's just someone to chat to.
Mm.
You know, what's the harm?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm chatting to Emeka and
Bill
at the same time.
Yeah.
But Emeka then said, oh, he's going to DLT Malta. Do you know that event?
Mm-mm.
This crazy event.
Yeah. What's crazy about DLT?
I just heard some crazy stuff about it. Do you know what? The listeners will know about it.
Okay. You know, you got me needing to Google this.
You can Google it after.
Cool,
Yeah.
So you said he's going to DLT Malta.
Yeah, so from that I was like, nah, this guy's not serious. So that's when I just decided to focus on Bill.
Mm-hmm.
So you were asking me why I liked him, right?
Yeah.
So he was very charismatic. We had very great conversation. He was a good father as well. So he had his kids that he was looking after on his own. He had a great job. So he just fit, you know, what I was looking for at that time. The only difference being, obviously, he was abroad. But I thought maybe I should try long distance.
Why
Why
was he looking after his kids on his own?
So they had separated him and the kid's mum,
Mm-hmm.
but he felt he could look after them better than she could.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the arrangement.
Did you know if she challenged that or she was like,
No.
"Bruh,
No, he'd been doing it for a number of years actually.
wicked." Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So where was I? Yeah, so we just clicked
Mhm.
and I was in love. This guy would sing for me on the phone.
Yeah.
He would play the piano for me, like on FaceTime. He had a piano in his house.
Yeah.
Put it there. I was just like, this is nice, man. And, he gave me his card so I could buy things. Like I could get lunch for work. Or if I wanted to get my child a toy or something. So I've got a child.
Yeah.
So I just thought, this guy is very
Yeah.
and he was super attentive. We spoke this is very important for you to know. We spoke all the time. Even though he worked, he always made time to speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was working, he would be like, "Oh, you're right. I'm just in a meeting or I'm in a hearing or whatever. But I just wanted to say hi, So the communication was always on point.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so.
I've heard people saying that you don't have to be physically present with someone in order for you to fall for them. And that's what this is sounding like.
No, like
it sounds like what you started long distance.
Yeah.
And it really got you in there long distance.
Yeah. And he was very intelligent. Like you can speak to someone and just think, this person, like the conversations you have, they're so different to say someone who's, I don't know, uneducated or I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was super intelligent. So we spoke for about, I think 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And in that period, we have been discussing, if we're going to make this a thing, where we're going to live. Because he's in Zim.
You're discussing if we're going to make this a thing.
Yeah.
So before you decided it was a thing, you're already in love. Because that's what you said. You just said to me 10 times in love. So at what point did you fall in love?
Okay, I fell in love quite quickly. And so did he.
Right.
But as I said, this was like talking. I say talking stages, but we were already like a thing. If that makes sense.
No. Because for me, and I'm tired of the feelers are going to remind me of this. Unless a man actually says to you, I want you to be my thing.
He did. But what I mean is, so we spoke for about a month and then he asked me in that month, be my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I said, okay, but you're abroad. And he said, no, we will meet and it will work. He was convinced that we're going to be together.
So your discussion wasn't so much, what are we? Because you're already an item. It's where are we going to be? Like, where's this thing going to grow? Either in Zimbabwe or here?
Yeah, we're talking about the future. Like, how's this actually going to work? So we'd already decided this is a thing. But it's like, okay, how are we going to make this thing actually work?
Okay, right.
Yeah?
Right, yeah.
So just bear in mind, as this was all happening, my friend Sarah, she's like, Mariam, I don't think you should date this person. And I'm like, what do you mean? You guys get on, you speak all the time. You've never said anything bad about him. So what is it? And she wouldn't really like say what the problem was. But like with time, she kept saying, oh, actually, they're not good for you. You're not a good fit. You're going to get bored of him. Another time she said, there's family issues that haven't been addressed. And I'm like, okay, so why can't you just have a family meeting and address the issues?
Didn't you ask what the family issues were?
I did, but
and?
I can't say.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
But I had said, have a meeting and, discuss these things. It's not something that should... stop me from having a relationship or stop him from having a relationship. And then another time she said, oh, the children's mom has once reported that this guy was involved in some juju stuff. I'm like, so each time she came to me, it felt like she kept creating a story that was bigger than the previous.
Oh, right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To try and like put me off dating him. But I just felt like, you're my friend. Just, why didn't you say this from the start? Because at the end of the day, you were the one that made sure the number was exchanged. Yeah. And her other sister, she was fine with it. She would even call me Makoti and everything. So I was just very confused at this point. But unfortunately, my friend actually gave me an ultimatum. She said, you have to choose me or him.
Yeah?
Yeah, she said, you need to choose me or him. And I said, Sarah, what do you mean? Like, I can be your friend whilst I'm with Bill.
Because beyond friendship, right? Sarah and Bill were related. So blood was always going to be there. There was no need to make them choose. Yeah.
And she was like, no, when this ends, I don't want to be the one like choosing who I'm going to side with. That's what she said.
Right.
And I said,
that was fair though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but how can you give me an ultimatum? Like, we're adults.
Okay, I get where she was coming from.
No, we've been friends for years. How do you give your friend an ultimatum that you either choose me or this guy?
Because I think she knew where it was likely going to end and she didn't want to have to lose you. That's the sense that I'm getting. Because you remember you just described how every story she was giving you was bigger than the other.
Yeah.
So she's really trying to make you see that, yo, fam, this thing that you're getting into and what I know is not going to end well. And when we get to that point, I don't want to be in that position where I need to choose blood over friendship because I love you so much. I don't want to have to lose you to blood. That's how I'm looking at it. But then remember.
I mean, I
don't have breasts. I don't have a cookie.
Do you know what?
So, and I wasn't in love. so I feel like I'm better positioned to look at this more. I'm able to look at this more objectively than you would have been able to.
I don't know. I just feel like
you felt a type of way.
I just felt we've been friends for so long. I don't think there's any good in giving a friend an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Because if she then sides with you, they're probably going to resent you for not being able to do what they actually wanted to do. Does that make sense? So at first I thought, she's joking, whatever. But she was actually dead serious. And so I ended up losing that friend. And she cut ties with me and Bill from that point.
With both?
With both. And this is way before I'd even seen Bill, like, in person. Yeah.
I should try and be impartial, but goddamn, I'm kind of feeling Sarah, you know.
Sarah was serious.
In the way that she decided to cut both. Because I think she knew both of you so well.
Yeah.
That she felt if she was going to be in here till this thing gets to where we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be in that position.
Yeah, I remember we had like a whole group chat.
Yeah.
With those four of us with the other sister. And it was like, this is it. So is this what you're doing? Yeah? Okay, cool. So that's it. And that was it.
How did Bill feel about Sarah?
Bill,
like cutting it off with both. Was he?
Bill was just like, she's not being serious. I don't know why she's giving you ultimatums. You know, it's just childish. Anyway, everything she's saying is all fake. Like the reason she gave me, it's all false. Whatever. He was just like, let's just do what we're doing. We're in love, so
he didn't care that Sarah's gone.
He didn't care. He just felt like if your family's gonna do that, then whatever. Yeah, he was just
Okay.
So where was I? Oh, can we just make a note that Bill had actually broken up with his fiance 3 months to me and him talking. Yeah. So maybe there was a bit of that as well that Sarah was not happy about. That
Okay.
he'd just broken up with someone.
Right. And
They
then
were
he's got something
they were
fresh.
due to marry the following year,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
now, you know,
Do you
you
know-
want to be with my friend.
Do you know why they broke up?
Apparently, this I found out after, like years after. Apparently, he just ended it.
Just like that.
He just ended it.
Without reason. It's just like, I'm just not feeling this anymore. I want out.
He just ended it. So I think maybe Sarah knew that this is who he is.
Okay.
He's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it will make more sense when I get to the end.
Mhm.
Yeah. So where was I?
Just got to the part where Sarah had just decided, no, I'm not having
Oh,
none
yes,
of this.
yes. So that ended.
Mhm.
Okay. So after about 5 months or so, I had to go to Zim because I had a family member with a terminal illness.
Yeah.
And, you know when people text you like, you need to come,
Yeah.
it means it's
Go.
the
You need
end.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, this would be a great opportunity to see my aunt, to say goodbye, and obviously to see Bill. So I was super excited for this trip. So, I got to see him. So initially I was meant to stay with my family, but because Bill had his own place, I thought I may as well just stay with you. Why are you looking at me like that? Anyway, so all right, just say what you want to say.
I'm totally judging that.
No, speak.
Only because look, you got family that you haven't seen in years, and
I was gonna see them.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you're gonna see Bill too.
yeah.
So what? I'm asking a stupid question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Why Bill over the family in terms of where to stay?
Bill wanted me to stay with him.
I'm sure your family wanted you to stay with them too.
No, they weren't fussy.
No.
No,
Okay.
but I thought I'm a grown woman. I don't need to be told where to stay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
and I
cool.
wanted to stay with him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first day, I remember meeting him. Yeah, that was a great day.
The look in your eyes, what you say?
Sha, please.
Anyway, we are grown. We are grown. We will let that go the way that it's meant to. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
You know, I remember when I was dating way back. Sometimes what you see someone to be on a picture over the phone are not the same when you meet them in person. What was it like with Bill? Was he the same? Was he better?
That's a good question, you know. So, so Bill wasn't as tall as I expected.
Okay, right.
I mean, people consider me tall. I don't think I'm tall, but he wasn't as tall as I expected. His face was the same. So the height, I was a bit like, but again, because I'm in love at this point, everything's a vibe. I just thought, is height really meant to be an issue, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I thought, but everything else was fine. Yeah. So I was there for a number of weeks, and I was actually with Bill the whole time.
Wow.
I ended up seeing my family like a few times for a few hours, but for the rest of the time, I was with Bill. And we went to see my aunt. She met him. She even like gave us a prayer, blessing our relationship. And yeah, she sadly died about a month after that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, with Bill, I've never traveled Zimbabwe that much. I got to see how beautiful the country is. We went everywhere. And I just felt like I need to move here. I was having a good time. I was like, no, I want to leave UK. I want to live here. I want to live here.
Yeah.
But that was crazy because this is like holiday stuff. This is not real life, you know? So here I am thinking, oh, I love it here. I need to move here, whatever. But at the same time, Bill was doing certain things. I was a bit like, what you doing? So I'm going to call them amber flags. They're probably red flags, but
This is the first time I've heard that color on this whole podcast. It's either red or it's red.
Okay. All right, I don't know. Maybe it was red.
Well, let's call them amber. Give me what some of these amber flags were.
Okay, so I remember going out. We went out to this food place called Gava or something.
Yeah, Gavas.
Yeah, and this place is like full of uncles and stuff. So they were just staring, but men do that.
They're just
right?
staring at you.
Yeah. So he picked up on that and then he said, oh, it's because of what you're wearing and it's your makeup. And I'm like, I don't even wear makeup that much. Like,
what were you wearing?
I had this midi dress, but it had quite a long slit and it was quite windy.
Oh, right. Okay.
But the point is, he was now saying, oh, it's what you're wearing. Oh, it's your makeup. I'm like, but this is how I've always been. Like, I wear short things. I wear tight things, whatever. And in terms of makeup, I don't even wear that much makeup. Probably like eyeliner or something. So I thought, okay. But during that first trip, he made it very clear that he doesn't like my dressing. But again, I was thinking, I've always dressed like this.
I was about to ask, had he seen how you dressed before?
He had on social media, even from the pictures we'd sent each other. But yeah, so he then actually said, like, I don't want you wearing these clothes. So I actually gave away so many clothes to my family.
Yeah.
They were obviously happy, like, free clothes. But I was like, okay, you don't want me wearing these things. Are you going to buy me the things that you want me to wear? And he's like, yeah, I'll get them for you. So I ended up wearing like maybe modest clothes.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's not really my style. But anyway, it was all in the name of love, isn't it? He didn't like heels as well. He said if I'm in heels, I'm too tall. So I had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not wearing makeup. I'm not wearing the clothes that I like to wear.
You're wearing modest clothes.
I'm wearing modest clothes. And I remember my other auntie telling me, but Mariam, why are you wearing these clothes and whatever. And I was just like, oh, but I look fine. This is what Bill likes, But I didn't know at the time he was already like starting to control a lot of things, But it was all in the name of
love.
Yeah. So I got to meet his kids. I didn't meet the kid's mom because there was just never
How many does
an
he
opportunity.
have? Two. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Bear in mind, so the ex-fiance was trying to reach me on social media.
Why?
We will know later.
Yeah, okay.
But she would use like so many accounts just trying to reach me. And I would know this because she started with her account and then I just had all these random accounts trying to follow me on Instagram. And I remember telling Bill like, look, your ex is trying to reach me, whatever. And he's like, oh, don't speak to her. She's crazy. She's this, she's that. I just thought, okay, she's crazy, whatever. But this girl was consistent. Like, when you send an Instagram follow, whatever, you reject it and then it goes. But she'll
come back.
She'll keep,
I'm just curious here.
Yeah.
As to why she had been looking for you in the first place. Also, I guess what I'm asking is how did she know you are now in the picture?
I didn't even know how she knew.
Wow.
But unless maybe my friend had told her.
Sarah?
I don't know how she knew. But I can only think it was Sarah.
So in the first attempt at contacting you, she said, I am such and such a person, and...
No. I knew what she looked like.
How?
So, what do you call it? Bill had old pictures of them.
Okay,
so I knew what she looked like.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So yeah. With regards to Bill, I saw him like every 2 months. I traveled to see him every 2 months. And again, amber flags. So there was one time he was shouting at his kids, and I'm like, why are you shouting at your kid? This is for like little things. But I was thinking, I don't parent like that. Like if a child's done something, don't just shout at them. At least try and reason and explain, where they've, where they need to correct themselves, whatever. And another thing, anytime we're in town, every girl breaking his neck.
Looking around.
In Harare, the traffic, the congestion, and everyone just weaving through cars. Any woman, he would be like...
He would be looking.
And I'm like, what is this craziness?
Was it? Did he do this from the first time you?
Yes.
Mad.
Yeah, I just found it so bizarre. Like, I see good-looking men outside. I'm not going to be breaking my neck to look at them. So, and another thing... I met up with a friend and we had drinks. And then after that that meal we had, he was like, oh, did you drink alcohol? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I don't want you drinking alcohol. I said, okay. And then he explained, oh, it's bad for your health and stuff. And I said, oh, okay, you've got a good point. But I'm not an alcoholic. I drink here and there, like socially. I wouldn't drink at home because... Yeah. It's like, no, I don't want you drinking. Okay. So I now changed a lot of things, but he had said it's because it will make you a better person. And I believed at the time.
Wow. I was just about to ask, at this point, had your brain started registering...
No, I think this is why I'm calling them amber flags.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So we eventually got engaged. I think 8 months from when we started talking. We got engaged. Yeah. You know what's funny? Like, can you stop? Why are you laughing?
I had no idea.
What do you mean?
That it would have gone this way. Because, I mean, an engagement is something that you would share with friends, etc. I would not have known at some point that, hey, Tinto, I'm engaged. I'm finding out postpartum. Let's call it that.
How could I forget to mention this? This was a red flag. So before we got engaged, this guy. So I didn't know this until I caught him one day. He would go through my phone all the time.
Oh,
but I didn't know this. I caught him one time.
How did you catch him?
I think I was coming out of the shower or something, and he was there on my phone on the bed. I'm thinking, why on my phone? It's like, oh, I need to know about your life, what you're doing, who you speak to.
What?
And I said, you could just ask me and I'll tell you. And there's some things I speak to my friends that I don't want you to know about.
Course,
It's not even about any other guy. It's just,
personal
exactly.
Stuff,
and then he's like, I want you to delete every man on your social media. I had to go one by one. Remove.
Did you know? I think you're saying that jokingly, but I think you're serious. Did you go one by one?
One by one. Not that I had many, but I had to go one by one.
And was he there asking?
Yes, he was there looking like, okay, that was good. Oh, and whilst we're doing that, he's like, oh, how do you know this person? Where do you know them from? How long have you known them? Da, 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 da. I'm like, Sha, this is too much. Let me just remove them in peace. Yeah? And again, it was, if you're going to be a married woman, you don't need to be, you don't need men following you on social media. You don't need to follow them.
What?
And I'm like, I've known these people from school or from uni. Like, these people are even married. There's nothing. It's just people you know. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, one by one, remove.
Do you know how this is making sense now?
What?
I remember trying to message you this one time on socials, right? And the thing is saying to me, follow. I'm like, what? Like, nah. I'm like, no, this must be a mistake.
Nah, I'd already removed you at that point.
And then I'm like, I can't be sending a follow request. At this point, it doesn't make sense.
Of course.
So then I went over to send you a text message. I'm like, Mariam, what's up? Long time.
Long time.
And then they like, nah, I'm just laying low.
Yeah.
And then I think like another 2 months later, I was like, yo, okay, you're low, but this level of low is a bit too much.
It's too much, yeah.
What's up? We need to catch up.
So again, obviously with social media, that was cleared out.
Mm-hmm.
Contacts now. I had to delete every male contact in my phone. Even cousins or uncles or whatever.
Ah, come on.
I'm not lying.
No.
I'm not lying. I had to delete all of them. So obviously I would have some friends that were like, oh, hey, there's this event, whatever. I had to tell them quick time, like, ish, don't text me ever again. I can't speak to you. And they'll be like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
They'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, my boyfriend.
Better safe than sorry.
So I lost a lot of like friends or people that I knew from way back because Bill was not happy with that. He didn't want me talking to any male.
Hope you don't mind me doing this, but now that this is happening, it's all starting to make sense. Because I reached out, I won't say what year, but I'll just say the month. This was in March. I'm like,
yeah,
Mariam, girl, I haven't seen you anywhere. It's been too long. Like, I haven't even seen you at this piano event because we both like I'm a piano.
Yeah.
Then you're like, hey, Tinto, yeah, I'm keeping a low profile these days. How have you been? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And I'm like, well, why are you keeping a low profile? And your response was, no particular reason, Sha. And that's all you said. And I remember looking at my phone and I'm like, okay. Something about that felt off.
Yeah.
So I left it for a month. I came back in April. I'm like, this load that you're talking about is a bit too much. And guess what? I don't think you were in the country at the time.
Probably not.
Do you know why I'm saying that? because that particular text is green.
Oh yeah, I was in Sim.
Now all of this is adding up.
Yeah.
And then I left you for another 2 months. In June is when I was like, hey, Mary, I'm like, I'm really concerned. How have you been? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. How are you? I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I miss you, my friend. We need to catch up. And she's like, I hear you. But please don't say that. My boyfriend will interpret it differently.
Yeah.
So just so you know, when that response came back, do you know when you look at your phone, like you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then I looked at what I'd said. I'd put a typo in there.
Okay.
So I wrote back and then said, oh, I just realized that there's a typo in there. I meant to say this. And your response is, I still understood what you were saying. It's just that things are now different. The moment you said that,
did the click?
Have a look at that response. All I said was tap about and I put a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's it.
I got it, and I got immediately what was going on, only because I've been through the same shit.
Right.
I had an ex of mine who basically didn't go through my contact.
Okay.
But if there was a female that got in touch, she was very quick to say who, from where, and for how long, and why. You don't need them. If you want this to work, get rid of them.
Yeah.
And my best friend is a chick. I didn't talk to her for 2.5 years.
That's a long time.
Couldn't.
It's a long time.
And when shit hit the fence, I was very quick to go with my tail in between my legs and say, "Hey, I'm sorry. This is what I was dealing with."
Yeah.
So when
and
you
did they
said-
take you back?
and then the day you hit me back,
I don't say that.
do you know what? If you notice, my response wasn't like, "Where the hell have you been?"
Yeah, you're very
It
understanding.
was like, "Hey, welcome back."
yeah.
So you removed all contacts, all male contacts from social media and your phone,
Yes.
including family and friends and cousins.
Yes, that were male. Yes.
Surely by this point you must be starting to be like, this is.
I mean, it annoyed me, but again, I thought these are just people. They're not like, I don't necessarily need anything from them, so it's fine. I always had a reason to be like, it's fine, because again, I was in love with my person. I wanted it to work. I didn't want him getting upset over contacts. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, yeah, so we got engaged, and then we had a court wedding soon after that. So we decided he would come here because I was like, Zim is not for me. So obviously initially I was like, Zim is great.
Yeah.
But after going there for a number of
A few times,
times,
you're like,
electricity cuts, water cuts, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
There's no Wi-Fi. All this generator solar thing. I'm like, this is stress. And there's no NHS. Like, if I was to have a heart attack, who's coming? No ambulance, So, and I had to think as well about my kid. Like, they're already in school, they're settled. And obviously his kids were settled, but I felt they could settle quickly here in the UK.
Okay.
So he saved up, got his monies, managed to get his visa stuff sorted. And then he came on a spousal visa.
I cannot believe this. Why?
Let me finish my story.
You became a whole Mrs. Someone.
Anyway,
Bruh.
yeah. So he came. So at this point, I was still living in the capital there. So first 2 weeks were great. Maybe because I was on leave. I don't know. And I returned to work and things just went downhill. So
things went down as soon as you got back to work.
So he was struggling to get a job. Obviously, it takes time.
Yeah.
He was struggling to get a job. People in Zim wanted money. At the same time, I'm working 9 to 5 and this guy's not helping me in the house. So I'm like, Sha, this is UK. You need to help me in the house.
Yeah.
So it could be something simple like, if I cook, at least help me with the dishes or something. Or put the things in the dishwasher. I don't know. Like, let's help each other. Yeah? And he was just like, no, I'm not doing it. And I said, you're not working right now. I can't do everything. Be a mom, work, try and be a wife to you. It was too much for me. Like, I got to a point where I was so stressed out. I'll be at work. I don't even want to go home because I already know what's at home.
Yeah.
And obviously the stress about the kids still back in Zim. They need to be supported as well. So I just felt like he's not hearing me out.
This was after how long he'd been in the country?
A few weeks. A few weeks.
A month, 2?
No, a few weeks.
Like,
this is what I'm saying. This is why I said maybe it's because I'd returned to work from leave. Because when I was off work, I could do everything, isn't it? Because I'm not working.
what was he like when you were in Zim then? When you visited, was he helping you with dishes and stuff?
No, because he had a maid.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, so the maid did everything.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. But he had promised, when we go to UK. We'll
Yeah.
help each other. I can
Yeah,
adapt. You know. Lies. Oh, so livid. So anyway, I just continued trying, and then so we now had to sort out the kids for them to come. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that to happen, you need to have the right accommodation. So we needed a bigger house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we got a house. This house was beautiful, Tinto. Somewhere in the village, I won't say where. This nice village. I'll show you the pictures after.
Yeah.
Got this big 5-bed house. I loved a house. Like
5-bed house?
Yes, like I've never lived in such a nice house in England.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is really it. You know, family, the kids are going to come. I changed jobs. My kid changed schools. Yeah. So we get to this new place. So he then found a job, but it wasn't paying as much.
Yeah.
But it was still a job, right? But still, the stress of not getting help. Now this is a 5-bed house. I've moved from a 2-bed to a 5-bed.
So more electricity.
More electricity.
More gas.
More water.
More council tax.
Yes. More housework. More rooms to clean. More rooms to clean. This house was huge. Yeah. And again, he wouldn't help. And he now had this tendency of always being on his phone. Like, we didn't talk as much. He would just always be on his phone. Say I came back from work, he would just be on his phone. And I'm like, we never used to do this. Say if I'm cooking, he'll be in the kitchen and we're chilling or whatever. Yeah, he just
stopped. He just offed it.
I'm like, what is going on? Like, was your goal just to come to this country? Like, what is it? And obviously, if you're having these issues, it's going to affect.
Say it with your chest.
It's going to.
You're a grown woman who was busy choosing to go sleep at a man's house versus your relative.
Okay. So all these issues were affecting our sex life.
How so?
So he still wanted to be intimate every day, by the way, without doing anything in terms of so I believe intimacy does not start in the bedroom. Yeah. But I don't think he figured that out. So imagine all day you're just on your phone, you're not really talking, just doing Twitter. What is so fascinating about Twitter? Anyway, Twitter, social media, whatever. And then come nighttime, you want to get down. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So again, that became an issue. Like, oh, you're not being a wife, you know. And he had this thing where he wanted me to bring a dish and a bowl to him every time. I'm like, Sha, that's so Zim. If I want to do it, I'll do it, but don't be expecting it all the time, you know.
Is that a Zim tradition to bring a bowl and a towel
before you eat? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
So, what was your issue with tradition like that?
I didn't have an issue. I just felt this is something you would do for someone that's treating you like a queen.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
Right.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
About a month or two after that, he said, oh, I need to go to Zim. I said, what's in Zim? He's like, oh, I can't get the work that I want here. So let me go open a business in Zim, come back, and then that will bring money. So I'm like, that don't make sense.
Did he have a business when you guys met?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
I just said, just do the exams you need to do. And then you'll be able to practice here, right? But he wasn't willing to do that. So I said, okay. So, before he left, I found $10,000 in his trousers, in his pocket.
Yeah?
That he had hidden. like in a suitcase somewhere.
10 grand.
I'm saying this because when he came,
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, I don't have money. I can't support you. You need to, help me out whilst I try to get a job," and so forth and so forth. And I was just like, why are you hiding money? If you have money, why are you hiding it?
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, actually, it belongs to a client." I said, "But why are you holding it?"
And why are you holding it as cash?
Exactly.
Anyway.
It was just dodgy. I didn't understand. So he then felt bad about it, and then he gave me half of it to pay for other things. Because like I said, that house needed bills.
And
Yeah. But still, I'm just like, why did he have that money? And I'll never know, really. He maintained that it was for a client.
you never got an answer to it.
I never got a really good answer. He said it was a client's money, whatever. Okay, cool. And then the other half, he said, "Oh, the client has now allowed him to use his money to open his firm." Again, I'm like, this is not making sense.
Excuse me, if I'm a client, I'm not really expecting you to use my money to expand your business.
Exactly. So anyway, he went, and I'm like, this is not making sense. And he said, "No, with the Zim legal system, it's improved. You can now do hearings online." That's what he said.
Right.
I said, "Oh, really? There's no internet there." Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that was his argument. So I said, okay, cool. And then he went. So he went for a good month.
To Zim.
To Zim. But before he went, he made sure all our locations are on. I can track him. He can track me.
He's the one who set the locations. Hey. So, but by this point, because we've extended grace and we've decided to call your flags amber. With this location flag, what color was it? What color was this location flag? Because if you're not having sex anymore.
No, I didn't say we're not having.
I mean, you're not having it as often. Well, whatever way you were having it.
No, the thing with the sex, I found we didn't match. But obviously, I only found that out when we were living together.
What do you mean you didn't match?
As in, he had a higher drive than I did. Because he wanted it all the time. And I'm like, I can't do all the time.
Didn't he want that in Zim all the time?
He did. But bear in mind, this was like a holiday thing for me. I'm not working. I'm not stressed.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get it. But when you factor in day-to-day living, then
I personally don't know anyone.
If you were getting help, it would have helped.
It might have helped.
Yeah, it might have helped.
Yeah,
okay.
but I personally, I don't know anyone that has sex every day. If they do, that's good for you. But
so at this point, what color were these flags now? This location flag. I'm trying to see where
the location one. I didn't think it was a problem.
See, that's still amber.
No, what's the issue? What's
the issue?
Anyway, yeah, he wanted to know where I am, make sure I'm safe. I could see where he is, make sure he's safe. Yeah. That happened. So he ends up setting up the firm and he returns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so he actually did genuinely set up a firm.
He did.
Okay, yeah.
Then he came back. But I told him when he came back that if you go again, I'm done. Because you have promised me that this firm will allow you to work online.
Right.
If you're going to go back, it should be for something important.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had now started saying, I think I should go to Zim every month or 2-3 months. And I'm like, I'm not here to do long distance marriage. Yeah? And he's like, no, he can make it work. I said, no, this is the line. I'm not doing long distance marriage.
So hold up. Sorry to detract. This will be really real quick. I know you said you got engaged. that explained a few bits for me.
Yeah.
And you had the court. You had a court wedding.
Yep.
Ah, okay. In Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So it's a Zimbabwean registered marriage.
Yes.
Okay, and then that's what facilitated you to bring them here.
Yeah.
So it's being viewed as legit by the legal system.
Yeah. Marriage in Zim is known here as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Got it.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, it'll work. I said, "No, it's not gonna work." So that kind of died down. And then, so things didn't really improve when he came back. He was still being funny. I still had to do everything in the house. At this point, I couldn't even go out with my friends or anywhere really. There was one time we were engaged. I went to see Burna Boy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I remember that concert, he was calling me every 15 minutes on FaceTime to see who's around me, what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm at a concert. I'm trying to enjoy the concert. And he'd be like, turn your phone this way, turn it this way.
What?
Who's that? And there was some guy that was obviously next to me and he's like, oh, who is he? Do you know him? I'm like, how would I know him? When you book your concert, whatever.
You're not going to be standing next to you,
you just
man.
book
Come
for
on.
you book for your seats or whatever. You don't know who's, and so I mean, I should have clocked on at that point that this guy's a bit controlling. But again, I just thought, it's love.
So how far into your into you and him being
What, married?
Yeah, all of that. From the time you started until now, how long had that been? A year, 2?
Until the move. Yeah, a year and 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So at this point, I'm like, I think we need therapy of some sort. I don't know what therapy, but we need something because there's a disconnect here. Yeah. So I can't go out. I'm not exactly happy about it. I feel isolated. I don't even feel pretty at this point because I'm wearing these modest clothes. Not that there's anything bad with them, but I didn't feel good. And I don't even think I looked good at that point. But he maintained that you still look good. But even the compliments will come here and there. It's like he just changed. And I don't know why, but that's just how it felt. So again, we're trying to raise money for the kids to come.
Yeah.
But the figures, it's expensive. I think we needed about 10K for them kids to come. Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
And on top of trying to pay for a 5-bed house and everything else, it was just too much. Yeah. And then, so obviously I'd started a new job, my kids in a new school, whatever. And then I remember one time he said, I need to go back to Zim. I'm like,
We've spoken about him, yeah.
He's like, oh, the kids need school fees and the mum said she won't do it. So the kids had gone back to the mum's house. So apparently that's what she said. And then I'm like, but we had an agreement that if she needs something, she is able to just let me know what's going on. There shouldn't be all these private conversations. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And we shouldn't reach a point where the kids are not in school because of no school fees. That maybe I could have sorted something out. Yeah. As I know, I need to go. Okay. But before that, I'd mentioned the therapy thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, no, African men don't do therapy. And I'm like,
bruh.
But we need it because there's a disconnect. And Yeah, and then I said, okay, let's do maybe something online. There's all these apps, these marriage apps, like you can download worksheets and do the stuff, do the work. And he just didn't engage in all of it. Also, he had expected his family to welcome him when he came. Remember Sarah? Nah, they didn't want to know. They didn't want to know. So he came, he told one of the sisters. She was just like, oh, okay, cool, we'll link you up. And that was it.
Why though?
I don't know. I just, yeah. But again, if I had listened initially, we wouldn't be going through this maybe. But there's something going on that I don't know.
Okay.
Like, even till now.
Yeah.
I don't know why there's this family thing. But before we went out, remember they used to speak to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so was it me? Was I the problem? I don't know.
It feels that way, doesn't it? I mean, if I were in your shoes,
don't know.
I mean, if I were in your shoes and people used to talk and suddenly I'm in the picture and people don't talk, I'll be inclined to think I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Now, not to say you are the problem.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be inclined to feel I'm the problem, especially what they still don't talk even after you've left. Well, maybe.
So.
Yeah. But maybe I'll think less of it in that sense, to say that I've come and gone and you're still not talking. Surely I'm not the problem here.
Well, I don't know now, but
Yeah.
Right. When he came, they didn't see him. He couldn't see them. And I think that sort of upset him as well. He still couldn't get the work that he wanted. So we're in this village. My child's now experiencing racism at school. That's stressing me out. This guy is talking about, I need to go back to see him because the kids need fees, need what? And I'm just like, I need your support. All this money you're trying to raise to get the kids fees, we may as well put it towards the visas, right? If the kids can't go to school, maybe for a week or two, it won't harm them. But if we're paying towards them coming, that's better than spending more money in Zim. Yeah, anyway. So this guy packed everything, all his items. And then he's like, oh, I'm going on Saturday. I was like, okay. And I'm like, why are you packing everything? And he said, oh, I need all my stuff. I don't want to have to do laundry like frequently.
Bruh.
Listen. If someone has stories, they'll give you stories. Yeah?
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm thinking, this guy is checked out, but he's not being upfront about it. Yeah? But if someone's telling you the kids need to go to school, I need to sort it out, I can't be that person to say, you're not going. I don't want you to go, whatever. So he went, he got an Airbnb because he was just going for a short time, right? To sort things out. So remember, we're still tracking each other. Yeah. So now I'm tracking him. I see he keeps going to this one particular location.
Had you forgotten that location was turned on?
What do you mean?
Had you forgotten that his location?
I don't know. He keeps going to this one location.
Yeah.
And like, now, if you called him, he wouldn't answer, or he'll text you like, I'm busy, or he was now so busy from someone that never used to be busy to make time. He's so busy now. And then, so once I called him I saw him once at this location and I'm like, where are you? It's like, oh, I'm just viewing this house. I'm like, what are you viewing a house for? It's like, oh, I found a house. Why? Oh, just so I can stay somewhere. It's cheaper if I find a house than staying in an Airbnb.
But it's temporary, so, you know?
Anyway, okay, cool, you found a house. Next thing, oh, I found a maid. I'm like, are you making plans to actually remain in Zim? And he's like, no, it's just so I can sort things out, whatever. Okay, cool. And then I think after about a week or so, he said, I'm not coming back. Yeah, I laughed because I was like, you know what? So you made me change my job. You made my child change her school. We're in this big 5-bed. There's 2 of us in this big 5-bed house.
And there's probably a contract that you can't really just get out of until you finish the tenancy.
It was 12 months.
Hey.
So I'm just stuck now, and you're there having a good time in Zim. Now you're unavailable. I can't reach you half of the time, And then he's like, oh, your standards are too high. You need to humble yourself. He's like, you need to come and live here. You need to be washing with a bucket. You need to live in a place where there's no electricity and what. I'm like, what are you talking about? So you're not coming back. He said, yeah, I'm not coming back. If you want this marriage, you're going to come to me.
Wow.
I said, listen, I don't like marriage that much to drop everything to just be with that man. It's not happening. Yeah? So he was adamant that, she's going to come. I was like, oh, no, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
So we're both very stubborn people. He's betting on himself like, she's going to come. I'm like, nah.
Ain't happening.
It's not happening. But bills keep going up. And I'm like, Sha, we need money here.
What?
I'm like, we need money. Yeah? Send me the money. So he would send some money, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough. And I remember speaking to my auntie. I explained to her what's going on. And she's like, your man is just playing games right now. All this confusion is not a good sign. It's not a good sign. You guys you're newlyweds, yeah? You should be enjoying each other. You should be happy.
Yeah, this should be the honeymoon phase.
Exactly, but this is just like chaos. And then he started telling, Bill started telling me things like, oh, you don't respect me. You earn more than me. Every time we go out, people look at you. He had all these different stupid reasons that just didn't make sense. Oh, one time he said, you love your child more than me.
Come on, bro. Listen, right?
I was like, what? No.
He couldn't have been pulling that line because
he said that.
Because for starters, he says he was the better parent. So he would have loved his kids more than his fiance at the time. Course. That's one. And then secondly, if you got just the one child, right, he's got 2.
Yeah.
So he's going to love them double because he's got 2. Do you get what I mean?
But even if he loved them, why is that an issue? It's not an issue.
How dare he try and compare himself to loving the children?
Yeah. He said, you love your child more than me. You always take her out. And I'm like, UK is actually dead. Like, if you don't do things with your children, they'll just be stuck on their phones in the house. And yeah. But he was like, no, I got Jade's what. I don't know how you interpret that in English.
I tried that. That they're spoiled.
Yes, yes. And I said,
they're a spoiled kid.
Nah, she's not spoiled. No. Before you, it was just me and her. So if I've got the funds to do things for my child, it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah. But apparently, So, what ended up happening was, so I was now speaking to his side of the family that runs him, and I'm like, this is what's going on. And there was this particular cousin sister of his who was like, why are you talking like you guys are married?
What?
I said, listen. I said, what do you mean? Do you see where this is going?
Okay.
I was like, Imamayim, we are married. She's like, I didn't know. I was like, what do you mean you didn't know? I sent her the pictures. She's like, who are these people?
What?
So this guy...
What do you mean what these people wear?
This guy did the Rora with some strangers. You're laughing. I said, this is Sekuru Ningi. This is Ningi. She's like, I don't know these people. I was like, do you know this whole time I was upset with you because you didn't come? She's like, I didn't know. So I'm upset with this lady for not coming.
Who's clueless?
Exactly. But I didn't know at this time, at that point. I didn't know. So I'm upset with someone who doesn't even know what's going on. She's like, I don't know these people. I said, no. This is your relative. She said, no. I sent her all the pictures from the day. She's like, I don't know these people.
You are kidding me.
I'm not lying. Do you know how heartbroken I was? So we had a whole proper, traditional wedding, and you brought some fake people to my family.
I hear
my family.
I hear a lot about this in SA in South Africa.
Really?
Yeah, that it's a thing.
How?
Like their relatives and cows for rent. And what?
Yeah,
this
but
is
why? But why?
How many people attended?
From his side, there were about... So it was him, the Munyai, the brother. The brother's real though. But the other men, I don't know who the other men were. So I'd say about 7 of them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the brother's in on this, obviously.
Clearly. And me and him were tight. I thought, oh, Bamkuru, what? Bamkuru is also a fraud. Anyway.
Yo, this is a mad thing.
Chicho.
This is mad.
Yeah. So he still is there whilst I'm finding all this out, because I wanted her to try and mediate or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know who these people are. At this point, I was so angry. I spoke to my landlord. I was like, listen, this is what's happening. I need to move out. I love this house, but I need to move out. I can't afford it long term. He said, okay, let me try and find another tenant. And if I can, you can come out early.
Yeah.
He managed to sort me out. I ended up getting a smaller place that was closer to my parents, and I moved out. I had to change jobs again.
Jeez.
I had to change my kids' school
again.
So at this point, I'm getting really depressed. So I'm in my new space. I'm depressed. This guy is talking about, if you want this, you're gonna come to me, and I'm like, I can't just move. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now struggling with my mental health. I'm having suicidal ideation. And I'm telling him I'm so stressed out. I can't even work fully. I'm not concentrating at work. Even my manager's picked up on this, and he just didn't care really. He was like, "You're doing this to yourself."
Who's that? Really?
Yeah. So you're doing it to yourself. If you came,
then
you'll be fine. So I was like, nah, this is not a prison sentence. So I emailed Home Office. I was like, this is done. And Home Office is quick.
Yeah.
They are quick. I think within 7 days.
Yeah.
They emailed us both saying, you need to leave on this date since this marriage has ended. If you're already out of the country, you can't return. And he was already out the country.
Bruh.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So that was that. And with the fake Munyai and stuff, negotiators that came to the traditional, he said, that's our relative. She just doesn't know about them because it's a big family, whatever. And I'm just like, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. So that happened. I did all of this without telling my family, by the way.
But before you go there, what was his response to Home Office's message to say?
Oh, he said he forwarded the email, even though I already knew. He forwarded the email saying, "Oh, is this what you're doing? Yeah, you're gonna regret it." I said, "Okay." And I told him I want a divorce, and he said, "I don't want a divorce." I said, "Well, I want a divorce." And so he kept saying, "You're just being crazy. You're going to come, whatever." So he never took it seriously. And that was the end of it.
I still cannot believe
Yeah.
that this happened like this.
Yeah.
So did you get sorry, I've just answered my own question. Because I lost track of the fact that in order for you to actually come to the UK, for him to come to the UK on a spousal visa,
Yeah.
they needed to prove that he was married.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, so did you actually really get a marriage certificate in Zim?
Yeah.
And that's when I quickly answered myself to say,
Yeah,
yes,
the
you
court-
would have, because then that's how he was able to come here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot believe you went and you got yourself a whole husband.
I can't believe it myself. Even my family. So remember I said I did
Yeah, you
everything
did it
without telling
without telling your
them.
family, yeah.
So it's after I said, "Oh, by the way, Bill's not coming back because it's done. I want a divorce." And my family's like, "Why did you tell us prior that you were having problems? We could have tried," or, you know.
Yeah.
So they were a bit confused. Like, so my family felt if you have problems, it needs to be a family solution.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always grown up on my own. I just felt I didn't want, you know, family telling you, "Oh, Shingirida, oh, be strong, be
Yeah.
strong." I didn't want any
yeah.
of that. And I'd also come to the realization that we're actually not compatible. And I felt he was fake. So all them romantic gestures, I don't know. They were just fake. But for what reason? I don't know.
How much
'Cause-
older than you is he?
5.
5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also felt, oh, sorry, go on.
Because I was gonna say, if he really was that much older and is that much more mature, his behavior should have been considerably different. Because I'm still a little hung up on the question, like, you love your child more than you love me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel a mature adult would need to say something like that,
Yeah.
because the love is different.
It is.
That's one, and then secondly, you know, just knowing the UK for what it is, you genuinely need to help someone,
You do.
and you also need to help someone. You know, be helped and also be the help, because
Nah,
it otherwise, other than that, it just doesn't work.
No, he couldn't grasp that. And yeah, I think for him, it was a big shift being his age, late 30s, and, you know, you can't get the job that you were doing in Zim. You're
Yeah.
not getting the same income.
Yeah,
You don't have a maid that does everything. Yeah.
you probably don't have the same respect as, and people don't really look at you and they're like, "Oh, Baba,
Nah,
Baba,
nah,
They
it's
just
just-
know you as Bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Bill, I need you to do this. Bill, I need you to do that.
Exactly.
Get him in the position to do it if you want to have, you know, things paid at the end.
Yeah. I mean, initially I thought, had he done it? So he comes to England, but he wasn't interested in staying here. So sometimes I think maybe he did love me, but we just didn't get along. I've got so many questions, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And it doesn't feel like he's the person who's going to be giving you those answers.
no. So the moment I filed for divorce, he just went silent. He still talks to my parents, which is so annoying.
Mm.
But they're like, "Oh, he's our son. And I'm like, no, he's not. But yeah, I eventually spoke to the ex-fiance.
Oh, you did?
This was afterwards, and she was telling me this is what he does. So he will start on a high, everything's great, and then over time he just stops. And that's what happened with them. They were together, they were happy, and then he just ended it.
And then that's what kind of happened with you, in a funny way.
Yeah, but
of course, there's the high of coming here, being with family, etc., but then going to sim and fine, I'm here, this is it.
Yeah.
Just deal with it.
I don't know if he had like traumas or something. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense.
So he's still in the process of getting divorced now?
Yep.
How's that going? Especially with the fact that he's quiet.
Well, I've got a lawyer, isn't it? I think we're in the final stages now. Yeah.
The lawyer's based here or?
No, in Sim. In Sim. Yeah.
My friend,
Yeah.
I didn't know you're a married woman.
Oh, can I just say why I said he was called Bill?
Yeah.
Why I named him Bill?
Why'd you call him Bill?
I don't know why I forgot to mention this. So when my lawyer drafted the summons, there was a, what do you call it? There was a statement in there that he didn't like as to why, the reasons. So he told my lawyer, you need to amend this, whatever. And I spoke to him at that point. I was like, why are you telling my lawyer to do whatever? And he's like, I want to run for presidency at some point in the future. So, so I can't have this. They got too much. Me, I would never be a first lady in Zim. So, yeah. So me and my people, we call him Bill because he wants to be a president. But yeah. I've learned so much.
You were going to bring your makeup back, I think. Weren't you?
No, we had. I don't remember now, but me and Bill had a big argument. He was saying, high standards. You love money too much. This is when I was telling him I need help with the 5-bed. And I was like, listen, if I really wanted money, I would have been with Emeka.
Wow.
So, he got lit.
Did you say that?
I said that because I was so annoyed at this point because Emeka earned a lot of money at that point.
Yeah.
After that point, he always said, go and be with Emeka. Go and be with Emeka. I was like, okay.
You didn't want to know. Wow.
I shouldn't have said that. That was hurtful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, just playing back your lessons. The Lord our God and Savior is not a God of confusion.
No.
And
that was a confusing marriage.
I think there are a lot of expectations that were unmet.
Yeah.
Maybe on both parts. In the sense
definitely.
that he expected you to be the wifey that serves, period.
Yeah.
Whether that is by what you do in giving him attention and giving him sex and giving him food, that was your duty, period. And then you had another view of what marriage should have been like. It's a union in which people help each other, you look after each other's backs, you support each other in times of difficulty.
Yeah.
And there was confusion in there.
Definitely.
There was a lack of clarity.
Yeah.
And then your lesson number 2, relationship is not a prison sentence.
It's not.
This I find to be very difficult for people, especially once they get married. Because for some, it's something that they've always wanted to do for a long time and they need to fight at it.
Yeah.
Because God wants you to be together forever, not realizing that, just like you say, it's not a prison sentence. If it's not serving you, let it go.
Exactly.
And for all we know, you could be holding back what really is a blessing to you, to your child, and equally for himself and whoever.
Yeah.
If something is no longer serving a purpose, let it go.
I agree.
Number 3, not listening to your gut will cost you financially, socially, biologically, and psychologically. So, when I kept checking what color these flags were, and you're saying they were amber, I really don't know what your gut was saying. At what point did you say your gut actually was like, yo, bruh?
So after I moved to my new place,
Yeah.
I had therapy, and my therapist was just like, you may have been married to a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained all these things, and yeah, they were definitely red flags. So it's only after the fact that I realized there were red flags. Yeah. But at the time, I just thought, you know, amber flags.
Yeah. So now, when it came to you saying that I'm getting divorced, your gut told you clearly that this is the right thing to do.
Yeah. And the reason I gave that lesson is because so much money was lost just moving and all of that. I lost my best friend. I lost other friends as well. So socially, I was like isolated. My mental health was affected. The last time I had suicide ideation is when I had postnatal, but that had never happened to me after that until this point. I was so stressed, I could not work. I'll be at work and I'm just tearing up. Like someone would say, "Oh, you're right," then I'll just start
and the moment
tearing
somebody
up.
asks you that question,
It's like, don't ask me.
It's the trigger for the tears to be like,
you know. I say biologically because my body, I was so stressed. Yeah. When you're stressed, I feel it in my body.
Yeah. And you felt a lot of it.
Yeah. I even lost weight. Yeah.
Your last lesson there, sometimes your friends know you better than you think.
Yeah. I wish I listened to Sarah.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I did reach out to her, I think a few months ago, and I said, this is what happened. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is what happened. And she actually said, it's okay. It's fine. If you want to talk about it, let me know. If not, again, it's fine. And yeah, that was it.
So where are you with Sarah now?
That was our last text conversation.
Do you miss her?
I do. Yeah.
You know, you could pick up the call and the phone and just ring her up, you know. Hey, it's okay, man. It's all right.
Yeah, I might do. I might. Yeah.
Because I think the good thing about Sarah here is she could sense what it could do, and to preserve her heart, her feelings, she put herself in that position, which I think could suggest that she's open to making this work. I think.
I don't know.
But what is your hesitation with that?
I just feel like so many years have passed. And even if I were to reach out, what am I gonna say?
Just be transparent with her. One of the things that I've come to value and really appreciate is being able to allow yourself to be vulnerable and just put it out there without reservation. Because now the person receiving that information is got the full scope of things, and they can make a decision based on honesty, based on transparency, based on the whole truth.
Yeah.
And I think everybody deserves that. I mean, yourself included. Because, I don't know, it just feels as if you don't know what her response could be, and maybe that's what you fear the most. Her potentially maybe saying to, I knew this would happen. I decided to leave it. It wasn't my business, not my place. That's for you to deal with. Which is somewhat a form of rejection, I think. And,
I mean, the text that she responded with was open.
It is open.
In the sense that she said, if you want to talk about it, I'm here.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I don't know where to start or even how to begin. And obviously I'm really embarrassed about everything that's happened. But yeah, I mean, every day I keep thinking, oh, oh, shall I? And I don't know. Yeah.
I have a good feeling about this. If
You always do.
if it counts for anything, I do. I really do. Because if someone didn't give a shit about you in that situation, they'll be like, hey, thanks for letting me know, but I don't really want to know. Because remember, she left a cousin and a friend.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. That's true.
So she was very real with what she was going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
I don't see why she would lie to you and saying, if you want to talk, come, let's talk. It doesn't benefit her.
Yeah, that's true.
If anything, I think it benefits you, and I think I think she somewhat misses you the same. But she has a heart too that she needs to protect.
Yeah,
and maybe she needs to know that if I do open up, you're coming correct. If you really preserved anything, a true friend shouldn't flash embarrassment in your face, or if they do, they'll do it in a joking way.
It's so funny because even during our friendship, she'd always tell me, "Don't do this, don't do that," and she'd be like, "I told you."
Yeah.
But obviously in a jokey way.
Yeah, you see, same.
So it's like,
same thing.
This is happening again.
So I think you have enough history to bring that on. Think about where you are and how you were able to go past the suicide ideation, and all of the stuff. You've really done some big things to get yourself back to where you need to be. And I'm confident there are people out there who are willing to celebrate you making this milestone and getting yourself to where you are.
Yeah.
But those cheerleaders need to know that they are safe doing that without trampling on somebody's toes.
True.
And maybe that's what she's just worried about, and that's why she's kept it open.
Okay, I might reach out. Yeah.
Take your time with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we were erased. And when you came knocking on the door...
What was my first message to you when I came back? Was I like, oh, hey?
That's not that. You just came and you were like, yo, Tinto, I need to come on your podcast.
That is mad.
I looked at that message for about 3 hours. And I was like...
yeah, you didn't respond quickly.
No, I didn't.
I was like, did you get the message or what?
Yeah, not because I didn't want to, but it was just it wasn't like, okay, here we go. But like I said to you, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been told. I've cut off my best friend was cut off.
Wow.
And when I went with my tail in between my legs, I get it. But hey, look, here we are.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm so happy. That above all, you're okay.
Yes, thank you.
In the sense that it didn't do anything physically to you that would have harmed you, like it didn't beat you up and all of that stuff.
No.
And I guess you've walked out of this with a lesson of a sort, right? That there's no such thing as an amber friend and an amber flag. It's either red or green, either or.
Another one, long distance is a scam.
And,
I need to put that in.
When you're busy talking about how deep you fell in love, it's an extreme sport.
But I want to thank you, Tinto. Honestly,
you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and I want to thank you for sharing your story. You've been listening to another episode of the Phoenix Station. I'm your host Tinto, and I will catch you in next weekend's episode. Peace.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Sati Zandaro Raini and Chake
Tell me what you're feeling. Now that it's over.
Sati Zandaro Raini and Chake
Let me talk about my feelings. Let me talk about my feelings. Yeah.
Urudoi motoru noto kujidziru amai.
Kujidziru amai. Love is a fire.
Urudoi motoru noto kujidziru amai.